Barakateh Hawa, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is For a Testimony Against Them and the Gentiles. And this lesson pretty much comes from a video I was watching, Elder Pastar's video. Thank you, Lord, for making DJ Trump the king of Babylon / and spiritual bag training. And pretty much, this Edomite here, he's been messing with the Israelites. And pretty much these brothers went to a precept. I believe that was the book of Luke, breaking down how the Lord only came for the nation of Israel. And then this devil here said, you twisted that. And like Elder Pastor said, how the fuck did they twist it? They read it as it is written. And then this devil had the nerve to go to Matthew chapter 10, and we're going to get into that because he pretty much cut himself. He didn't even realize he cut himself. So we're going to get to it. Matthew chapter 10. And that's why, look, as the apostle said, just call it cops on these devils. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you say, no matter how much sound wisdom you bring, remember, they're the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. They will not give heed, even if you break it down to the least common denominator, because they're not interested in the truth. They're interested in pushing that bullshit ass plantation / Renaissance / white supremacy Christianity. That's what you got to understand. You fucking guys out there don't get it. These devils are not concerned with battling in the scriptures to see who has the truth or not. Their thing is you come back to to your place. Get back in your place, Toby. That's what they want. They want Jake to come cowering down back to Massa. All right. But some of you guys, you're going to keep on doing it. Hey, whatever. Anyways, Matthew chapter 10 and 5. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them. This is a strict commandment that he gave the disciples. All right, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, the other nations, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. To who? To the Israelites. Now, he tried to go to the verse down here. I'm going to start at 16, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpent and harmless as doves. Right. Use wisdom when you dealing out here, and when you go out to teach this word. When you go to teach the Israelites, use wisdom. It says, but beware of men. This is even Israelite men, right? These wicked Pharisees and Sadducees, for they will deliver you up into the councils, right? And that's where Yahushua was brought to first. He was brought to Caiaphas, Ananias, and all of them, He brought before council. Then he was sent to who? He was sent from there to Pontius Pilate, from Pontius Pilate to Herod, back and forth. You know the routine. And they will scourge you in their synagogues, and they did that to Yahushua, and they're going to do it. They did it to the disciples then. And, in these times, you're going to have examples of it also. It says, and you shall be brought. You dig? You shall be brought before. Did the disciples go there? The Lord said, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. This said, and you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake. Why? Because of the testimony you held. Matter of fact, like the Apostle John, we were speaking about it at camp, how he was on the island of Patmos for the word of the Lord and for the testimony that he held of Yahushua. And he was charged pretty much with sedition. Revelation 1 and 9 says, I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation and in the kingdom and patience of Yahushua HaMashiach, was in the isle that is called Patmos for the word of the Most High and for the testimony of Yahushua. Okay, so he was sent there. So meaning when you speak against this government, they're going to bring you before these kings and these governors. All right. And what are you going to do when you brought before them? Did they go to them? Did they say, well, you know what? Yahushua said, don't go to the Gentiles, but we're going to go to them anyway. We're going to talk to them. No. And you shall, back in Matthew 10:18, and you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. And there's plenty of scriptures that speak about, the Israelites or the prophets going to these different kingdoms and prophesying against these nations. Jeremiah 1:4. Then the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Right, because we are supposed to prophesy to the nations of what? Their destruction, their future. And on the other hand, prophesy to the elect of the nation of Israel of their salvation that's coming, and prophesy also to the ones that are not a part of the elect of Israel, that they will be destroyed. All right, now when we go to Isaiah 34, right, and 1, come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all that things that come forth of it. So this message is to the world, but there's different messages. The good news is that the Israelites will be delivered, in this case, the elect, but eventually the rest of the Israelites will come back in the kingdom of heaven through the ones that make it. And the nation's message is that you're going to be destroyed. And some of you will make it out of this destruction, and you'll go right into slavery. You'll be the first slaves, beginning with your leaders, your nobles, the very ones that, that the disciples and the prophets will be brought before to give a witness or a testimony against them. See, that shows you that these Christians are not very bright. You're trying to go ahead and, look, they went and talked to the Gentiles. See, they went to but what did they say? Did they go to the Gentiles, or were they brought to them, under duress? They were brought there. Because why? Because in the Roman Empire, you could not speak against the Roman Empire of another kingdom coming or another king coming, because that was deemed sedition. All right? And that's why they were brought before them. And then when they were brought before them, the Yahweh Shai told them, you shall be brought before kings and governors for my sake. It says, for a witness against the Gentiles. Matter of fact, let's read that again. Matthew 10:18, and you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. And we're reading some of the testimony. This message that's coming to the nations as your world is going to be destroyed. The Lord is going to take over. We're going to get back on top, and then you're going to be tributary to us. And your world is going to be destroyed. Your militaries are going to be destroyed, so on and so forth. But those of you that make it out of this, especially your higher ups, your leaders, your governors, your rulers, they're going to go directly into slavery, into captivity. Isaiah 34:2. For the indignation of Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushai, is upon all nations. This is the message to you. And his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He had delivered them to the slaughter. And what's that? The ultimate is going to be the destruction of America. The land of Israel is going to be destroyed also, according to biblical prophecy. And the armies that are over there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, what they call the so-called Middle East, in the deserts of Arabia, and the deserts of Iraq, and in that region there by the Euphrates River, so on and so forth, you will be demolished and destroyed by the chariot of Yahushua and the angels that are going to eviscerate you. All right, that is the message. And who is the head of this message? You devils, you Edomites. Jeremiah 49:7, concerning Edom. So this is the witness or the testimony against them and the Gentiles. All right, this is not a message of salvation or the good news of the gospel. This message is of your demise, your destruction that's coming. And that's what the Lord showed the Apostle John when he was on the island of Patmos. All right, he showed him the destruction of America, Babylon the Great. The leader, as they call it today, the leaders of the free world, who is run by who? The so-called white man, who the scriptures identify as the Edomites, who would be in control and in charge in these days when Yahushua comes back. And we see everything is in place. And who are the people that are running the so-called white people? So if the so-called white man's policies was being governed by what governs the earth, who are the Edomites? Well, when you go to this word and it speaks about this, it means that fuck your words. What does prophecy dictate? What does prophecy say? Fuck your words. Fuck your theological terms, and all that bullshit, all that garbage that you spew out of your mouth. What does the scripture say pursuant to prophecy of who would be in charge in the last days? The Edomites. And you got a very heavy price to pay, a very heavy bill to pay. Your bill has not been paid. You haven't even attempted to even begin to pay for your bill. And you're going to pay the whole tab because your credit is up, dog. So as Jeremiah 49:7, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman. Teman represents the Germans. Oh, you just made that up. Well, Teman are the wisest of the Edomite nation. Who are the most wisest Edomites out there that every other Edomite goes to for technological research? The so-called Germans. That's why after World War II, you had roughly about half that were taken to Russia and the other half were taken to America. And whatever the ratio was, whether it was 60-40 or 50-50, whatever. Why was that? Because those German scientists were very wise as far as, being able to put together the modern age of weaponry. And that's why they were brought over there, and Oppenheimer, who was a small hat, would consult with Einstein concerning certain things to get his take on stuff. And Einstein was a so-called German. You see? It says, is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Right. What happened to your technology? What happened to your think tanks? What happened to all of these wise so-called decisions that you made in the past to be able to get you out of every situation you've been in? Remember, it says that no one was able to make war with the beast. And you got so enthralled into that you really believed that shit, that you could beat the Heavenly Father and His Son. That's the message that we are to speak against the Gentiles, of your destruction. And those of you that make it through this destruction that are in other parts of the world will be carted right into slavery. That's the message. Okay? Not of salvation. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of the Dan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. And any nation that's in bed with Esau, guess what? If you happen to be on the soils of America, which is modern day Edom, which is known as modern day Babylon or Babylon the Great, guess what? You're going to get caught up in it. If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough, right? And that's, that was in the law. If you gathered your grapes in your harvest, you would not glean it. You would not take everything off. You would leave portions of it for the poor. So if you have grape gatherers, they would leave something. If you had thieves, they would come to your crib and take, what they could till they had enough and they're out. When Yahushua comes back, he's not going to leave nothing. He's going to take everything out. And anything that's on the soils of America, whether it's above ground, underground, in the middle of the ground, in the mountain, underwater, it's going to be totally annihilated. It says, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, right? And these secret places also go into your deep underground military bases. Underneath the Pentagon, you have, I believe they said 75 feet. You can go underneath. You can take an elevator 75 feet down. You have bunkers all throughout America. That's not going to help you. You're going to be taken out. So this is the testimony against the Gentiles. Why do you think if the Apostle John was speaking a message of saving everybody, do you think he would have been on the island of Patmos? They would have lauded and praised him. He was on the island of Patmos because he was speaking what they claim or deem to be seditious. But these Christians don't get it. And he shall not be able to hide himself. You ain't going to be able to hide yourself. The scriptures say that you're going to be hiding yourself in the, in the dens and in the rocks, and pretty much in your shelters. Talking about hide me from the Lord and from the wrath of the Lamb. You ain't going to be able to hide. If you're on the soils of America, you will be totally wiped out. If you happen to be anywhere on the earth, you're going to make it. If you're in your bunkers or whatever. But guess what? You're only going to make it to go right into slavery. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not, because eventually they're going to be taken out. Obadiah 1:18. They're going to be totally done away with. And the Edomites are still here. Leave thy fatherless children. I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. So the Lord is going to be the one that's going to take you out. And let's see what this says in the NLT. It says, but I will protect the orphans who remain among you. Your widows too can depend on me for help. Let's see, NIV, leave your fatherless children. I will keep them alive. Your widows too can depend on me. Because basically in the kingdom of heaven, you're going to be, you're going to be in captivity and slavery. Because you're going to be totally annihilated. You will be annihilated. Yeah, because the word chaya for preserve is life. Because you're going to have some stragglers. You're not going every Edomite ain't going to be destroyed. And you're going to have widows. Let me see what this is. Isle is a pawn, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And guess what? In the kingdom of heaven, all nations will be forced to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, you know what? The thing is freaking acting up. Fuck. Yeah, they fucking with it. Now you asshole. Just bear with me. Satan is the prince of the power of the air. Let's just wait for that. Let me see something else. All right, so let's go from there. Let's continue on. Verse 12. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, which shows you that this part right here is dealing with Israel. All right. Don't worry about Esau. They're going to get it. But you Israelites, don't worry about it. You caught hell. It says, for thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? So he's letting you know that, look, these individuals here, these Israelites, they caught hell. They drank of that cup. They're royalty. I created them to be royalty. And they had to drink of that cup. And are you the one that's going to go unpunished? No, the Lord is not going to acquit the wicked. Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. Witness against the Gentiles. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, that Basra, today the modern day Basra will be America, shall become a desolation. America, Babylon the Great, the modern day Nineveh, spiritual Egypt, and Sodom, you will become a desolation, a reproach, right? Because this place is going to be set up as a memorial of a wicked people, the Edomites that rule the planet in wickedness. A waste and a curse, the forbidden zone, or the forbidden zone. And all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes, everything. You're not going to know when one city ended or one state ended and another one began. The line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. I have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. This is going back into history. So leave it at that. The point is that this is the message that we're supposed to teach against the Gentiles. Let's read this again. Matthew chapter 10, 18. And you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. Testimony is to testify. In order to testify, you have to have testicles. That's why women are not supposed to be no prophets, none of this stuff. Testimony, testify, marturion, which you have the term witness. Okay, marturion is witness. Like they say, martyrs doesn't really mean someone that gets put to death for the word. It just means a witness. But these witnesses happen to be put to death for the testimony that they held. Testimony. And that's what? Against them and the Gentiles. Now, let's go give you one more. Isaiah 63 and 1. And these devils know that their time is up. And they know that they're going to be in power when Yahushua comes back. That's why they're trying to set up traps in space and trying to set up early detection warning signs or systems so that when the Lord comes, you think they're going to trip the wire or the laser, and then all of a sudden they're going to know the Lord is coming, and he ain't going to know, so they're going to get a chance to catch him off guard. Man, you Edomites are Edomites are about as stupid as these Christians. Y'all one and the same. And this devil, gonna come out there talking about, he said don't go to the Gentiles, but it says in the 16th and 18th verse, that he's gonna be a testimony, and he read it against the Gentiles, and he tried to use that to think that he was winning. But this is what the devil does. But no, see, the thing with Jake don't question Esau. When Esau says something, they just accept it. Or the white man said, it must be true. This must be some serious shit. Because they talking to the white man, I got to listen to this. But then when Jake says it, you got to bend over backwards and, put out every nook and cranny. And then when you pull out every nook and cranny, you still got to prove even more. But Esau, all he got to do is just say something. And Jake just believes it. He just accepts it. Let's go back. Let's finish out here. Isaiah 63 and 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? So this is Yahushua coming. All right. This is what we're supposed to witness or as a testimony against them. That the Lord is coming to destroy you. Matter of fact, let me get one more before that. Let's go to Isaiah. I'm sorry, Isaiah. Got Isaiah on the brain. Revelation 19 and 16. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And you had this dickhead ninja talking about, see, he had a tattoo on his thigh. Man, what's that going? Oh, man. I digress. King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Why? Because he's coming back to take all of these different nations down. In other words, he's going to get the credit for taking all these nations down and putting them in subjection. So back in Isaiah 63 and 1, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength, because he's coming back as an angelic force, majestic in his glorious form. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save, this is Yahushua. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel? Not actually red. In other words, he's going to get the credit for taking Esau down. And thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. Right. So he's coming to do mass destruction, mass death. The Most High going to murder Esau. No. You can't say that. No, man. Inside joke. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. All right, a testimony against them and the Gentiles, the governors, the leaders, the rulers, their armies, these nations. The Lord is coming to do work on you. He's coming to take you out. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. Right. And that's why he says he's going to roar like a travailing woman, roar like a lion. Because he's going to finally get his claws on you, so to speak. Get his foots and his hands on you. proverbially, of course, but he's going to actually destroy you with the lasers from the chariots, and then you're going into captivity. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore, mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. This is Yahushai. His fury it upheld him. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. And when it says he will bring down their strength to the earth, meaning your planes, your helicopters, your drones, that's why it says, and I saw Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels, and there was no place found in heaven for them. Because the Lord is going to bring down your strength back down to the earth. So you're going to go from the greatest military that ever was on the planet to a bunch of nobodies, has-beens, to eventually after that to the never was, because you're going to be done away with after you serve your captivity. All right? So that's what this is talking about. The devil tried to use it. So you said don't go, but he did go. They did bring a testimony to the Gentiles, against them. Okay? Get it right, troop. So with that, I pray that you brothers and sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.